These are 20 mind-blowing revelations in Joe Rogan's history.
What about the ideas that the universe is in a constant state of contraction? He'd be the oldest man alive.
Right?
And it goes to the next place. They're amazing. I love them so much.
Nice to meet you, Ryan.
Nice to meet you, Joe. Pleasure to be here.
You're one of...
thought later.
And aren't binary star systems really common?
Yeah, more than half the stars.
Makes sense in light of new.
It's about, then you can have the film about something else.
Yes.
Because it's not really
Yes.
about, it says that you would be ripped apart or
Right.
anything like that.
If you go to the Congo, you gotta go walk. There was an African lion that used to live here. You know what's
Yeah.
interesting to me? People that buy that you have to pay for education.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was, and we don't know what that really looks like until you see it play out. But there's some videos of guys falling down face first and getting yanked back up. It looks like they're yanked by cords.
Have you seen that picture, the thing that looks
What's up,
like...
Jamie?
After we talked about this last time, some people sent in videos of NFL players doing the exact same thing in the end zone.
Yeah, super athletes.
There's 3 or 4 guys doing it.
Throw their body, but they don't have a giant pack on their back. They're not wearing helmets.
They're wearing helmets.
That shit's light compared to what the astronauts are wearing, dude. The
They're in
astronauts have like they have a
1/6.
suit that keeps them.
But not
With
if
1/6
the,
Earth's gravity.
but if
True.
the concept is the suit, the concept is they're not even on the fucking moon, and then that suit could just be paper mache.
But some of the ones where they're pitched completely forward and they just go back.
That's literally what it is. I'm
Let
trying
me
to
see.
find it right now.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
trying
come
to
and
find
see.
it.
I would love to see it. That's interesting.
So you're still wavering on whether we went to the moon.
I'm too dumb and uneducated to really know.
Right.
But I am wavering more on the possibility that some of the footage was faked. Let me see this.
Super quick. It's a
Here we go.
5-second video, so it's
Okay.
like no instant
Go
replay.
ahead.
But
Boom. That is not the same thing, Jamie. I can do that.
super similar,
Dude,
though.
bullshit. I can do that. That
All
guy
right,
goes
I'll
to
find
his...
another
I'll do
one.
that right now.
I'll find another one.
The guy goes to his knees and then uses his momentum to pop up from his knees.
I've seen some that look pretty crazy, though, man.
Dude, that's ridiculous.
I'll find another
The
one.
moon ones are way more preposterous.
I've seen
than
better
that.
examples than that, though. There's
Oh,
some
yeah,
that's
super athletes.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is springing up, and you can see the kinetic energy from their legs that's
Right.
forcing them up. They're super athletes.
Right.
They show off. Those guys do backflips and shit all the time. They are physically capable of doing things that a normal person can't do, but they're not physically capable of defying physics. What you're seeing in a lot of those moon videos looks like someone's defying physics. Like they pitch forward and they bounce back up. I think they shot a bunch of shit. And I think some of the video, if you're going into space and you're experiencing deep radiation, the Van Allen radiation belts and from the
Yeah.
sun, dude, you can't even go through the fucking X-ray machine at the airport.
Right.
The old X-ray machines with film. They wouldn't let you.
Yeah.
Because if you went through with film, it would kill your fucking film.
Yeah.
So how are they getting these perfect videos and photos and none of them are fucked up by radiation? It's entirely possible that they did go to the moon, but they faked a bunch of the film footage because they wanted to have something and they couldn't really bring anything back. It's entirely possible. There's faked footage from the Russians, 100%. There's a precedent. The footage of Yuri Gagarin when he's circling Earth for the first time, when he goes in a rocket and the first guy in space, it's fake as fuck, dude.
Really?
He's inside this tiny little compartment, and all of a sudden they got room in there for a camera? Get the fuck out of here, bitch. You see a light source this way and a light source that way. He's got dueling shadows behind him because they got lights set up in there because they're filming him inside this
Right.
capsule. No, he shot up in the space. He really did do it, but they couldn't fit a goddamn camera in this tiny little capsule.
Right.
There's no room. So they just faked it
Sure.
after the fact.
Makes sense.
Of course it makes
Saves
sense.
a lot of money.
There was no internet back then. There was no VHS tapes back then.
Right.
They broadcast something on TV. As far as their eyes and their mind goes, that was the only time people are going to see it.
Right.
All they have to do is show it to you once. Pull it off. Nobody ever imagined you'd be able to pull it up on your phone, or two stoners like you and me would be watching on a podcast.
Right.
See if you can find the video of Yuri Gagarin from inside his, what would you call those things?
Pods?
Pods? What'd you call it? Yuri Gagarin in space. You watch it, you go, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
You watch it and you go, what? That is fake.
Right.
That is not him. Or it's not him in space, rather. So here it is. And blast off. Da, 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 da. Here he is. He's getting in the bus. He's heading to space. I can't believe it. Yuri, show me. Where are you?
Right.
See, he's in this thing. Look at that. Right there. Back it up. That was it. That's it. Watch this. Are we good? We're good. We're going to stop it. Here we go. And take off. Look at the lights. You see? Hold up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Stop. Pause it. Look at the shadows. Shadow to the left, shadow to the right. There's fucking lights in front of him. They have lights in there. He's in this tiny little pod. How's it lit up?
Is there no windows?
No.
Maybe they just have.
No. There's no windows.
Why couldn't they have lights in there, Joe?
Because they got no room.
It seems like there's enough room.
Panels don't have
They
lights
need
on.
that.
They don't have lights back then.
Think about this.
These candles.
Think.
They had a campfire. There's a campfire in there.
I saw a few breakdowns of the moon landing too that said it would be way, way, way harder to fake it back then than it would have been to actually just do
I've heard
it.
that too. Yeah, I've heard that too. But I don't think we're talking about faking going to the moon. You're not understanding what I'm saying. We're talking about faking footage. We're not talking about faking going to the moon. Like, I think they probably did go to the moon. But I would imagine that at least some of the footage you're seeing is horseshit.
It was from what I wasn't obviously alive then, but it was like a 140-minute live stream.
Right.
So
Right.
that's
I've
hard
seen
to
your-
fake.
I've
No, it's not. No, if you just have people in orbit, it wouldn't be hard to fake. Look, I think it'd be harder to go there than it would be to fake it. I think going there, if they did go there, and I think they probably did, was an unbelievably difficult thing to do. But like faking that they were there, how hard would that be? Like after the fact, like filming footage,
They did, yeah,
or filming footage of them in orbit.
Film
or
is
filming-
the part you can't. That would have been a mile of film.
Joe,
reel.
it's really
You had
interesting to
gigantic
watch.
reels that you don't. They didn't
Right?
have.
Do you know that all that shit's missing? You know all the original footage is
Yeah,
missing. All of it.
that's the weirdest fucking thing to
All
me,
of it.
man.
Yeah, I mean, I know you do, and you're being
I know.
skeptical
Yeah,
guy.
I looked it up.
But
too,
look,
yeah.
it's missing.
Remember
It is.
when that?
Not only that, you know what else is missing? The
What?
telemetry data. All the ones and zeros that show the location of
Yeah.
the capsule, whatever the fuck it is on the way.
I thought, from what I read, they still have that data. They just the original paper it was on, or the original magnetic tapes got reused because they needed to.
Okay, well, why would you say that unless you why don't just Google it and find out if that's
That's
the
what I
case?
read. I read when last time you and Eddie
What
were
did you
talking
read?
about it.
What'd you read?
I read that the original tapes got written over because they
Right.
needed the magnetic tape because there was a shortage at some point in time.
Right. So, but still,
But the data's still somewhere else.
There was a
but
shortage.
still, they recorded over the original tapes of the fucking moon landing. How much of a shortage of magnetic tape do you have where you're going to record over all of the video from the motherfucking moon landing?
Fuck
Hey,
it.
we got a presidential parade from 76. You want to keep
Super
that?
Bowl.
Yeah, keep that. Keep that's a good one. It's like if you're going through like your family's VHS
Yeah.
tapes, like, what do you want, Picnic from 82? Yeah, that was when Mikey threw up. Save it, save it. Like they're saving everything, but they record over the fucking moon landing
Yeah, who
video.
needs it? Let's just fucking record over the first time
It
in
is
human history.
literally the craziest thing in human history to ever record over.
Right.
It is the dumbest thing in human. I'm not saying they didn't do it. They might have. The official story might be legit,
Casino.
but it might not
Where
be.
do you put your money on the moon landing? Because you know what I'm detecting, Joe? When we first got to be friends, as I recall, you didn't really believe in the moon landing.
I didn't believe it at all.
And then you went through a phase because of the podcast and having a lot of conversations with different people, or something happened where you started shifting your ideas and thinking we did go to the moon.
No, I started shifting my ideas about everything. The
Right.
moon landing is just an example. That's an extreme example of a position I took that I think represents. There is mystery to that story.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mystery to that story still to this day. There's a bunch of weird shit connected to the moon landing. A lot of it. So and people are like, no, there's not. Shut up.
Yeah.
No, there is. There is. There's a bunch of weird shit connected to it. How about the fact that they gave a fucking moon rock to, was it the Prime Minister of Holland, Neil Armstrong, and Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins signed on this plaque, and they gave this moon rock to this guy in Holland, and it turned out to be petrified wood. It was fake. Like there's so much weird shit connected to the moon landing that it makes you go like, wow, like the
Right.
creepy speeches that Neil Armstrong gave
Yeah.
25 years after the moon landing,
Yeah.
talking about uncovering hidden truth protective layers that are, Ooh, great deeds that can be done to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers. This is a speech that he gave. There's so much weird shit.
But some people say there's alien relics up there.
Those people are ridiculous. There's no evidence of that, but there is evidence that these people are talking really weird about the moon landing.
Jamie, can you
Do you
pull
know
up
what Clinton said? Do
What?
you know what Clinton said in his book? He wrote a book called My Life. And in one of the chapters in My Life, he talks about a conversation that he had with a carpenter when people landed on the moon. He was working in a construction site.
Yeah.
And the guy said, I don't believe it for a second. Those television fellers, they could fake anything. And he says, back then, I thought the guy was a crank. But after 8 years in the White House, I was starting to think that maybe he was ahead of his time.
No shit.
This is what Bill fucking Clinton wrote in his book, My Life.
Wow.
Why would the fuck would you ever write that if you were the goddamn president of the United States for 8 years and you're saying, hey, maybe the guy who thought we didn't go to the moon was right?
Right.
Might not be right. It might be that they faked some footage. They did fake some photos. There's a photo of Michael Collins who's on a moonwalk from like Gemini 15. And it's not a real photo. It's a photo of him from the test runs that they did that's in a warehouse, and they blacked out all the background. It's been proven. They reversed the image and blacked out the background. You could see the two of them. If you overlay them, they
Right.
line up perfectly. It's the exact same image.
Right.
So someone, whether it is an overzealous PR agent for NASA or a journalist at the time, who knows
Sure.
who actually made that photograph, but somebody did and tried to pass that photo off as space. So there's some
Right.
deception. We know
Right.
that one is 100%.
Sure.
So then you look at the other ones. You look at the videos of guys falling down, getting yanked back up, and bouncing around like they're on trampolines, and some videos where they're
Right.
hiding behind the lunar rover. Like, what the fuck are you doing? If you guys tear your suits, you're dead.
Sure.
You guys are jumping around on the moon like you're having a party up there?
Right.
Is that real?
Right.
How come I can't get a fucking regular camera through the radar machine, the x-ray machine at the airport, but you guys can fly through the radiation of space, and that shit comes out, but, well, those cameras were insulated. They were a different kind of camera. The camera was... Not true. Hasselblad said it. They were the same goddamn cameras.
Right.
It's a regular camera. There was no specific protection. There was nothing unusual about the protection that those cameras had.
It's interesting, man. You've like gone back.
No, I haven't. I think this is the thing, man. I'm not taking any position.
You're agnostic.
100%, because I don't know anything about space.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the physics of space travel. I don't know anything about the requirements, the technological requirements, but I do know it's one of the only things that happened between 1969 and 1972, and it's not cheaper, easier, and faster to reproduce today. It's weird. It's a weird
That's
thing.
weird,
It's a weird
too.
thing. This is the only time in history people have been more than 400 miles from the Earth's surface, was those moon missions. All the Apollo missions, man. Everything since then,
Right.
all the space shuttle stuff, inside 400 miles. Satellites, or
That's
a
always
space
been a
station,
weird
rather.
thing. You talk to people about that part, and they'll say like, "We just don't need to go there anymore."
Maybe we don't. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. They might be right. We don't know, but it's juicy to think they're not right. But it's interesting how rabidly people fight off the notion. Here's the other weird shit about it. The Nazis were running our space program. That's a fact. Operation
Right.
Paperclip. Werner von Braun was a fucking Nazi.
Right.
They brought all the scientists over, like legit Nazis who would hang Jews in front of their fucking rocket factories in Berlin. Legit. Guys who wear tattoos from the Holocaust identified Werner von Braun, talked about him being
Yeah.
in there. That was the head of NASA. That was the guy who was trying to get us to the moon.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot of weird shit. And people.
See, now you're getting deep into it. It's the Nazis doing some kind of thing where they're like trying to fake the moon landing. Like it's somehow attached to the Nazis.
I think the Nazis were the best rocket scientists available, right? Or one of them, other than the ones that we had here and then the ones the Russians had. There was a lot of competition to get the best rocket scientists. But some of the best rocket scientists were in Nazi Germany.
Sure.
So when Nazi Germany fell, Operation Paperclip took place. And in Operation Paperclip, they brought a number of Nazi scientists from Germany secretly to America. And one of them they put as the head of fucking NASA.
Yeah, this is where it gets really cool. Someone was explaining all this to me about how basically it's the thing is like, okay, you think in World War II that we just rounded up all the Nazis and they just disappeared.
using Jewish slave laborers during the Holocaust. Holy shit. I went there with that UFO guy, Bob Lazar.
Oh,
They wanted
easy.
back then.
Well, what's that? Tell me you saw that documentary about the 3 identical strangers. Did you
I
watch
heard
that?
about it. I didn't see it.
Bro.
I heard.
Oh my God. I mean, essentially, in so many words, without divulging too much, 3 brothers are born, triplets are born, and they are separated at birth, unbeknownst to them. They grow up completely independently, run into each other later in life.
Jesus.
This was in the 70s, I think it was, 70s. And they meet publicly on, maybe not Donahue, but one of those fucking big shows. You know, like they bring them all together.
Yeah.
And they end up finding out later in the documentary, spoiler alert, that there's a company who is doing this, that's doing trial tests on babies that are separated and putting them with different families to find out if they end up growing up with similar characteristics.
It's a nature versus nurture.
Yeah, nature nurture scientific
test.
experiment.
But imagine how sick you have to be
Fuck.
to decide to separate kids.
Yep. And dude, show up and test their family to find out how they're breeding these or how they're growing these children.
Christ.
Gross as fuck. You watched it, right, Jamie?
They'd come test them every week or two, and just like doing checkups, and the parents almost didn't even know. I'm not sure.
Well,
or if
one
they
of
know
the
they're
one of
part
the parents
thing.
seemed to be more keen about it, and the other ones just felt like, well, they were getting money for it, so they were like, this is just a part of a program that we're in.
Bro, how is that much different than aliens abducting people and
That's what I'm
running
saying. It's
medical
not.
tests?
It's not. That's my point. Is like
You're
if they
doing
got
an
away with that,
involuntary life and genetics test.
bro.
Involuntary.
Supposedly they have the data from that too. Like the nurse or the assistant from the doctor that was doing it says there is data. She has read it, but it has never been released, and it should be because they fucked up all these people's lives.
Wait! You're leaving out an important part.
Probably.
It's in a library in like Harvard library, and it legally can't be released to the public. It's something it's someone's holding on to it, and it cannot be released. They've tried hundreds of times, and it's got a 2050 release date or whatever. They're waiting for these people to die.
Yeah.
So then it'll just go away, and no one will think about it anymore. It's fucking, dude. Watch it. It'll fuck you up.
I'm scared.
And then you find out in the documentary they're not the only ones. They've done this over and over and over and over.
God.
It's fuck, dude. I'm sitting on a plane watching it, and
That's reptilian.
yes, you know when you're on a plane watching something so good, and you look around like to other people, you're like, you fucking. No one's watching it, but I'm like, it's fucking shit. It was so trippy, man. It's so trippy. So yes, do I think that Lazar had people trying to ix out his pet? For sure. For sure.
And there's a lot of other stuff that you got to go, I don't know. How do you prove that? How do you explain that?
Well,
I don't know.
Isn't that like anything in our world? What do you believe in?
The big questions are, is it education background? That was a big one.
What do you mean, credibility-wise?
No, whether or not he actually was educated at a certain place. I can't, this is a fucked up one, but I can't say what he told me. But essentially, without saying it, it had to do with projects he was working on.
Currently.
No, at the time.
Oh, right.
When he was working at Los Alamos Labs. I can't say anything more than that.
Fuck. And now the internet explodes.
But I don't know if it's true.
Right.
I mean, I
who
told him
knows?
I wouldn't say anything, so I said I wouldn't say anything, and I'm not going to say anything. But whatever he said about all these different things, only he knows if it's true. So
Right.
when you're talking to a guy, he doesn't seem like a liar. Seems like he's very intelligent. I mean, when he's talking about all kinds of different things, very intelligent. So either he's running the greatest 30-year con of all time,
Right.
or maybe this really did happen. When you talk to him, so you're just guessing. You don't know. I
Right.
don't know his life. I don't know his real life, right? I'm just guessing. But he seems like a guy who's seen some shit and just didn't know what to do and told some friends about it and then went to the news. And that's what that George Knapp guy, who was the investigative journalist that studied this case, over all the years, like this guy's never wavered.
Like
And
he's stuck with the story over and over.
things have shown to be true that they said were science fiction. Like there was this equipment that they had at Los Alamos Labs that he talked about, where it was this thing that measured the distance or the size rather of the digits in your finger. Apparently, it's like like your fingers, the inches are specific, And so, like, if you put your hand down on that thing and then Jamie's hand, it would give a different measurement. Like, there's a different, each bone is a different length, and the exact length is of like 1.7, whatever the fuck it is, 1.7 inches, like whatever measurement tool they use. It was calculating the length of your fingers through some kind of buggy system that he said didn't really work that often. But people said that's science fiction, it doesn't exist. And then they finally got photos of these things. And people that worked at Los Alamos Labs concluded, or they conceded that these were a real thing.
But for a long time, they were fighting it, being that's not real.
Some people that didn't know were saying he made that stuff up. It doesn't exist. But it showed it does exist, and it did exist right there where he worked. He even took them on a tour through the labs. Like, he knew where everything was. He used to work there. So when they went there with the documentary crew with Jeremy Corbell, they just walked him through. He showed where he worked. He walked right in there. Maybe the guy's running the craziest con game of all time.
Yeah.
And he's just a super genius and way smarter than me, and he tricked me, and he thinks it's hilarious. Or maybe he saw some shit. What he was explaining that made it more and more interesting was how compartmentalized it was. And about how the problem with being so compartmentalized is that science is based on free exchange of information.
Right.
You have to have guys who are testing all these different things and working on them together. That's the only way you can do it. So he's limited to a couple of guys that are working on the propulsion system, and then there's a couple other guys that are working on the metallurgy, and a couple other guys that are working on the navigation system. And they chose him because he was kind of a maniac, and he put a fucking jet engine in the back of a Honda, and it was on the cover of the Los Alamos newspaper. Right. And it said in the article about Bob Lazar with his fucking jet-powered Honda that he was a scientist at Los Alamos Lab, a physicist. So this was in the newspaper. They printed this when this guy was doing this thing where he said he was living at the time in the area where Los Alamos was, and it said in the newspaper that he worked at the lab. There's a fucking logbook of employees. It's got his name in it from that time. A guy had it. He showed it. They took photos of it. They showed it to everybody. Look, we have an employee logbook.
Yeah.
Like this, or the employee directory, rather. Robert Lazar, right there. So he worked there. He really did work there.
How could you fabricate that shit?
Everybody's scared to talk. All the people that he worked with are scared to talk.
Why do you think, though?
Look at what's happening to him, man. He looks like a fool. The FBI raids his house. Everybody calls him crazy. He didn't want to have anything to do with this. The only reason why he wanted to do my podcast, he wanted one more chance to just get it out in a form where it's just him talking. And he felt like he and I, and we both talked about it. I think me and you talking. I'll just let you talk. You tell me what happened, and I'll let everybody figure out if it's true. I don't know.
What do you think, honestly?
There was parts of me that said maybe I'm just dumber than this guy, and he's like really manipulative, and maybe he just knows how to tell a story and
You're
stick
pretty
with
fucking
it.
keen, dude.
I know, but it's a tricky thing, man. You can get cocky. You can get cocky.
I feel like you
can get cocky and think that you know that someone's not full of shit.
Yeah, but I feel like you talk to enough fucking people who are and aren't full of shit that your meter is higher than most.
I'm also nice. So when I'm trying to talk to someone, I want things to work out well.
You're giving the benefit of the doubt often.
I want them to have a good time.
Yeah.
When we're talking, I don't want to confront people.
Yeah,
even if I angrily disagree with every fiber in my being. As I've gotten older and better at talking to people, I avoid that kind of conflict.
Right.
I don't think it's necessary.
But I just think your bullshit meter is keen enough where you'd be like,
I think it's super cocky to say that. I would like to think it is. Yeah, my ego would like to say, bro, I can fucking tell. You can't lie to me, bro. Just try to lie. I've had people lie to me, man.
Dude, I know NASA, bro. That ain't NASA stuff. You know what I mean?
I think there is times when you know someone's full of shit, and there's times where you think you know someone's full of shit and you're wrong. And then, it's like this whole thing of looking in someone's eye and talking to them. Sometimes someone will tell you something like, oh, bro, I didn't even know you called me. You're like, you motherfucker. You see it right in their eyes. Like, you piece of shit. You didn't know.
I didn't see your text, man. I didn't even see it. You didn't? It said you fucking saw it.
Come on, bitch.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Was there the fear that you entering into professional tournaments would not...
500 ain't got nothing to do with a stake horse. You know what I mean? This is just like pocket money. So now his stake horse comes over, and he's kind of interested in the game, and he says he'll give you the 7, but you got to bet, everything you got. Well, I got like 25 or 30,000 on me. You wouldn't know it, but I do. So I can't pull out 25 or 30,000. They're going to know something's up. So me and my buddy, we talked for a second. So we end up pulling out like 4,500. So we play for a little bit, and we're playing 7 ahead. We were playing a race of 7. for the 100 and 200, right? So now he thinks he's stealing because, I mean, the way I played in the other 2 sets, you know what I'm saying? So he just comes out like gangbusters. He's got me like 4 games down. I'm talking to my buddy. I'm like, man, this is sick. We're going to get beat in this spot right here. I'm getting the 7, you know? So finally I get a shot, and I start to run out. Now I'm starting to run out. And so his stake horse sits there, and he says, man, ain't this something? You know what I mean? He says, we thought we were stealing. It looks real bad now. So I beat him that set. So now at hard times, you've been there, right, in L.A.?
Yeah, Bellflower.
Yeah, so they got the player side, right, with the tight tables, and they got the looser tables. Well, he had me on the looser tables thinking, you know, I'm just a sucker, you know. So he says, the stake horse says, double the bet, and we'll give you the 8 on the tight tables, right? So this is like really good for me. You know, now I'm getting a spot on even a tougher table. So I beat him that set. But during that second set, a friend of mine had built me a cue and sent it out to the guy that ran the tournaments in L.A., right? So I'm going by Tyler, and this guy walks up, and he says, real loud, he says, are you Jeremy Jones?
Oh,
like that.
no.
He says, if you are, I got a cue for you, you know? And I was like, no, I ain't Jeremy, because I'm in the middle of this $9,000 set playing, you know? So I said, no, I ain't Jeremy Jones, you know, and I just sent him on his way. And then the next day when I came in, Mark knew who I was, and, you know, everyone spilled the beans kind of thing.
No.
You know? I had to go tell the guy, all right, that's my cue and everything. So,
Was he mad at you?
No, not at all. He understood. It's kind of like a funny story around there now, I think. But Marcus was mad at me for a little while.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Oh, yeah, because he was European, you know. And it was just kind of like, you know, if someone got me like that, you know, it's going to sting, but it's going to be more like, all right, touche kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Later on, you know, we're going to laugh about it and stuff. But it's almost like if you first beat Efren, he walks by you, but he don't say much to you for about a month or 2.
Really?
You know, oh, yeah. He's got to let that wear off a little bit. But it took Marcus probably about a decade before. It was bad, yeah.
So when he beat you the first 2 sets even, were you hustling a little?
Well, I might not have put forth my best effort, but he played real good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was just, all right, let me pick up this 400 or 500, get out
But were you
of here.
purposely trying to set something up?
Well, you know, I'm definitely not trying to win for 200. You know what I mean? Like his stake horse, who now is actually, after that trip, became a real good friend of mine. You know, at that time, he was known you could beat him out of, you know, 40 and 50, you know, 1,000, right? So you're not going to start off doing anything like that for 200 or so.
So when you first start playing, you play good, but you're not really bearing down.
Right.
So you're showing him that you can play a little, but you might miss some shots that...
Plus, I wanted to see him play.
Right.
You know, I heard the name.
Right.
I kind of wanted to really see, because eventually to beat him out of the real money, it's going to be playing even.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he's another great player. So that eventually was going to happen, but Marcus ended up having to leave the country for his visa got shortened up or something like that. He actually ended up leaving the next day. But I stuck around for about a month.
In these other countries, is there a lot of gambling going on? Obviously in the Philippines there is. But is there a lot of gambling going on in these other countries where all these players are emerging?
Some of Asia, for sure. Southeast Asia especially, I think. You know, Thailand, like you said, Philippines, Indonesia. Europe here and there, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot at all. And I think it's more of the stake horse kind of situation. It's just not the mentality. You know, there's not stake horse. You know, people aren't just thinking, oh, let me go put somebody else in action for thousands of dollars and give them half. You know, it's just not your everyday thing.
One of the fun parts of American pool culture, the stake horses.
Oh, absolutely. They're some of the biggest characters.
Yeah, some wild, crazy people with tons of money.
Yeah, and how they got it.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're interested in gambling on pool.
Yeah, I've been paid in buried money quite a few times.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It
dig
stinks. It stinks, usually.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Not nice.
Wow.
The whole car stunk. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah, real bad.
Do you think there's like bodies next to the money?
I don't think so.
Why did it smell? Just mildew and shit?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm talking about, I think this has been there a long time, 30 years. Yeah. There was a guy one time we were in South Carolina. It was another place that I frequented in the summers, especially because we gambled at golf. But this guy, Frank, and he was a great, great guy. And he was coming in overalls, didn't know he had a penny, but he staked a lot of players, and he did a lot for the pool community. So he comes in one morning because we'd all meet at the pool room about 10 a.m. and we'd all make a golf game. Then we go out to the golf course, gamble golf, come back to the pool room and make pool games, right? It was awesome. I mean, the whole summer was like this. So this Frank comes in one morning, and he looked real upset, and he never looked upset. Always happy. Even if he lost, he was happy. And so I said, Frank, what's wrong? You okay? He said, I come out my back door, and I saw one of my bushes dug up today. So one of his sons that was a little detached at times from the family for one reason or another, he let it stay there, and he said he knew it right. It was a $30,000 bush. Yeah. And so he took it like a grain of salt. He was more disappointed. It was kind of like a disappointed father kind of thing, more than upset. He had plenty of money,
Yeah.
So, but it's amazing what people do with their money. I can't tell you maybe the craziest. I'll tell you later on the craziest ones on there. But let's see. So one time I was at a tournament in Mississippi, and to get on with this, I won the tournament. Tough tournament, Johnny Archer, all the great players, and his bar table. So I won like $8,000. So by the time I won the tournament, I think I was about 25,000 losers in the casino. Okay, like terrible trip. I mean, I wasn't even trying. You remember Tony Ellen?
Yes.
So he was 20 minutes late to get a steak dinner at the Horseshoe. It cost me about $12,000. I went down there and said, let me just pitch 300, and they just pounded me, right? So I got the tournament money after winning. It was $8,000. Went straight to the cage and cashed it. Went straight to the blackjack. Yeah, I had it about 10 minutes, so the $8,000 was gone. And so this guy that was playing there, his name was Frank Seals, and he was a legendary stake horse. And he used to stake CJ when he was a kid, and a lot of players throughout the years. And he said, hey, if you're ever bored, you want to come up to Morristown, Tennessee, I got a kid, I'll let you play if you still want to play, I like the way you gamble is what he said. He watched me play blackjack, blow all my money, right? Yeah. So, yeah. So, I told him, messing with him. I said, you ain't dealing with me with no blackjack up there if I go up there. So anyways, I go up there. So he's got this guy, Mark Owens was his name, good player. And real high gear. Maybe not the most steady player, but real high gear. So we're playing. We start off playing races to 9 or 10 or something for 1,000. So long story short, I got him 10,000 loser, okay? And it's because we raised it and whatnot. And so now the whole town, this is a small town, okay, just up in the northeast corner of Tennessee. So the whole town starts coming in, and this is their hero. So my buddy starts taking bets on the side, So now I got him 10,000 loser, and he says, we want to play a set for 10,000. This is what Frank says, the stake horse. He says, but we need to call 8. You know what the call 8 is, of course, right? So I said, okay, yeah. So we're going to race to 15. So we're betting about 10,000 on the side. Okay, so we're playing a set for like 20. All right, because my buddy's got a list of bets this long with all the town people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's 9-8 me. Instead of playing safe on the 8, I try to jack up off the end rail and stab it in and draw my ball. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I bobble it. He makes it. He breaks and runs 5 racks. He's up 14-9. So now he breaks, going to 15. And the 4-9 is wired over the spot. He makes an incredible shot on the 1. He's got the 3 down the rail, and he's just got a cupcake on the 4-9. So I turned my buddy, and I said, man, we ain't got but like 8,000 left, because we were winner. We start off 1,000 a set. I said, we can't lower the bet. You can't do that. And then they know you're short. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm like, what are we going to do? We'll get more money tomorrow, or whatever, right? So the pool table's here, right? He's shooting to this corner. Now, Frank is the only guy. He's sitting right here on a stool chair, right, like a little school chair. Mm-hmm. Everyone else is way back over here besides me and my buddies over here, right, all the people watching. So he knocks the 3 in, Mark does, and he comes down. He was kind of one of those guys that would fire the 9 in. You know what I'm saying? You've seen him. He rifles this 4-9. He could have just tapped it, and it would have rolled right in the corner. This ball went down and swirled around in the pocket. Jumped almost all the way back out to the spot. That's how far it went.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. All the money's on the light, right? So Frank, he knows about pool, and the ball's aimed directly at Frank. So as soon as he hits it, he knows it's in. So Frank starts to get up and get the money. I said, oh, Frank, I said, the 9's on the table. You know, Frank's like 75 years old. He's got glasses. So I said, the 9's on the table. He says, oh, I'm sorry. You know, like he didn't realize it didn't go in. Well, it did go in. It just came back out. Yeah. Never pocketed another ball the whole set. I played safe on that first shot. I broke a ran, played safe, broke a ran, beat him 15-14. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So now the kid, he quits, and he's literally crying out on the stairs. Okay. So Frank says, come back the next day. We'll play you some more. So we come back the next day. We start out playing like for 3,500, races to 11. So I beat him 3 sets. So he says, hey, he's going to take a break. He said, I'll play you some more in a minute. I'm like, sweet, man, this is good. Good action, you know? So Frank's sitting in this chair right here, and the kid's practicing a little bit, and he hits a ball in that same pocket. It jumps the pocket, hits Frank dead in the eye, right? And his glasses, and blood's going everywhere. I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was ironically crazy, right? So we end up having to quit, and we never end up playing again. So the same pocket that kind of saved me the day before, right, kind of got him the next day, and we end up never playing, yeah. Funny story.
What kind of shitty table is that?
It was a Gold Crown, but it had replacement pockets. You know, the big black ones that go in. They're kind of bulky. They kind of move around a little
they
bit.
did a shitty job.
Yeah, it's old school pool hall. But
Oh man.
yeah, that Frank, he was something else. So I'm playing, right, and he pulls up his overall, and I see a gunshot wound in his leg. I said, "Dang, Frank, you got shot?" He said, yeah, my wife shot me about 10 years ago. I said, man, you mean your ex-wife, don't you? He says, no. He says, I'm still with her, right? I said, damn. About 3 months later, she killed him. Wow. After I played, yeah, same lady that shot him 10 months before.
Oh my
10
God.
Years.
She shot him dead?
Dead. I think she did 6 months in a mental place, and then she's out. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
6 months?
6 months, that was it. Yeah.
That's it? She shot him twice?
Oh, I think it
Did
was
he
like.
not tell about more?
I think it was like 5 of them in the chest.
Oh, when she killed him?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Remember I was telling you about that buried money?
Yeah.
Frank gave me some of that buried money.
Did he?
I think he was kind of like a numbers guy. You know how they run the lottery out in the country on their own and stuff? Yeah, I think he did